Hey guys, this is Toronto. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 vehicle deck commanders going into Aetherdrift. Obviously with Aetherdrift right around the corner, there's going to be a lot of vehicles, a lot of mounts in it too, I guess, back. I'm really excited for it. One of my favorite decks of all time is my Edward Kenway deck that I'm working on at the moment, and I absolutely love it. So I'm very excited. So these are my top 10 vehicle commanders. Obviously, you know, people are going to agree or disagree with them. There's going to be some more obscure options here. There's going to be some that are, you know, more mainstream and stuff, but I love vehicles. I think that they're just a really cool mechanic, and I'm really excited to kind of share this with you guys. So before we get into it though, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you share the video around, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And you know, with Aetherdrift right around the corner, we're going to be sharing the news with you guys as it kind of comes out. So being subscribed is going to help you guys get the best news straight away. So let's get into it with Sydri first up. So she is really great in regards to being able to just animate your vehicles without having to actually crew them. So their power and toughness is going to be equal to the converted mana cost. And that's also going to be better because some vehicles are going to have a higher converted mana cost than they are going to have power and toughness. So it allows you to be able to crew them essentially, but also be able to have them be stronger. There's a lot of different ways that you can kind of make use of this. Then you also have the option of giving a vehicle, you know, death touch or death touch and lifelink, which is really great. So this enables you to just be able to bring your vehicles to life without even needing to use them crew, and enables a lot of shenanigans, as well as the fact that this is instant speed. You can do that at any time. So even when all of your creatures are tapped down, you can instant speed crew one of your vehicles. People are not going to expect it, and it's going to be just, you know, able to come in as a blocker or be able to do whatever else you want to be able to do with it. Next up, we've got Edward Kenway. Again, Edward Kenway. He is absolutely amazing. I love him. You can have a nice mix of pirates and assassins and some vehicles and some theft, just to kind of be able to do a lot of really cool things. You can acquire crew from your opponent's decks. All you need to do is, you know, swing into them. You're going to exile the top card of their deck. They don't get to look at it either. Just FYI, they don't get to look at it or anything. It gets exiled face down, and then you can play it. Now, keep in mind that, you know, you don't get to use mana as any color or anything with that, so you do need to have the mana color or use treasures for it, but it's not too bad. It doesn't work out like awful. There's lots of artifact synergy that you can do with just so many treasures coming in as well, because you're going to just create treasures for each tapped assassin, pirate, or vehicle. Next up, we've got Bello, Bard of the Brambles, and I've built him up as vehicles too, and it's just really funny. You don't need to crew your vehicles because now you can just turn them into elementals with haste and card draw, and, you know, just be able to throw your vehicles at things, which is just really cool. You can also make your vehicle support cards into elementals as well. So if you've got artifacts that, you know, like the Crystal Skull of... you know, the Crystal Skull or something like that, like a Mystic Forge. I can't remember if they're CMC 4 or higher, but you get to be able to turn those things into vehicles too, and be able to throw them at things. Well, not into vehicles, into elementals. We've got King Macar, the gold curse. So, you know, obviously like a Midas touch kind of thing going on with him. You can tap him with vehicles, and then you can untap him with any number of other ways to be able to exile opponent stuff. This is also a safer way to be able to tap him than needing to send him into combat. So you tap him down with a vehicle, he becomes untapped on, you know, you start your next turn. You didn't need to risk throwing him at someone or anything, and then you get to exile a creature. There's just a bunch of vehicles as well that untap, or at least some vehicles that untap too. So you can be able to untap him and then, you know, throw him and then tap again, or, you know, just crew things at instant speed and then untap it on your turn. There's just a lot of ways that you're able to abuse this. And he was one of kind of like the OG vehicle commanders, just really fun. We've got Mishra, Eminent One. And I love the idea of the whole Mishra's used car lot. Because of the way Mishra works, you can create a copy of any of your non-creature artifacts, and it becomes a 4/4 Mishra's Warform. So you can copy, you know, your, let's say your Reaver Titan, you've got a Reaver Titan. You can copy that. It becomes a 4/4. It's still got its abilities and everything, and then you can attack with it. But you can also crew your original Reaver Titan. It then becomes a creature, and then you can use it for attacking too. So now you've got, 2 copies of it. It's just really cool. There's a lot of vehicles that have attack triggers, combat damage triggers, or just great ETBs that make use of this really, really well. As well as the fact that it's a relatively cheap deck to build, because Mishra already has a precon, but then a lot of vehicles are relatively cheap, except for the really, really great ones. There's some good vehicles that are relatively cheap, so you can build this up for a decent budget. You can also have your Mishra's Warform being the Titanic, which I just love, and it's freaking hilarious. The RMS Titanic from the Doctor Who set that's going to create you a bunch of treasures too. We've got Marneus Calgar. Esper is honestly just nice for vehicles overall, and Marneus makes use of all those vehicles that create tokens, and also he can generate crew himself with his ability. You get to crew your vehicles with your token weenies, and then that's going to leave you more room within your 99 to be able to add in more vehicles or more ways to create tokens and spread them out, or ways to be able to create token copies of vehicles, etc. There's just a bunch of ways to be able to kind of do that, like populate stuff and just be able to create a bunch of token vehicles, token creatures, etc., and throw them at people. We've got Ashad, the Lone Cyberman. This is one that not a lot of people think about when they think of vehicles, but honestly just makes a great vehicle commander. All non-legendary artifact spells can possibly enter with a copy. So all you need to do is that casualty 2, sacrifice a creature with power 2 or greater, and then you get to create a token copy of it. It's really good. There is a lot of non-legendary vehicles that are definitely worth copying. And you can even sack your little vehicles later on to just create bigger vehicles, because all it is this power 2, right? Like, so you can sack things, you can create token Cybermen, for example, with like something like Missy, where when something dies, you get to bring it back as a Cyberman, and then you can sack it because of 2/2 to be able to create a whole bunch of vehicles. It's really cool. And then your vehicles are going to become, once you sacrifice any creatures and stuff, then Ashad just becomes bigger and slowly grows up. He becomes slowly a threat by himself. It's just really cool. We got Wylie Duke Atiin Hero, obviously made to be tapped with vehicles or mounts. You have the option of attacking with him, and then you can crew something later on with him to be able to then gain your life and draw a card. You've got 4 CMC, which is really great for crewing. 4 power, which is really great for crewing, because anything that's like, crew 4 or greater, then you've got a really great kind of commander here to be able to use with that to be able to crew things easier. We've got Shorikai, Genesis Engine. Obviously, this is like the definitive vehicle commander. If people talk about vehicle commanders, Shorikai is one that comes up really quickly because he just does everything, creates crew, is a vehicle themselves, draws cards, because why not? You've also got a bunch of ways to be able to make use of those discarding cards, whether it's recursion, or there's a few mass graveyard recursions for artifacts as well. So you can then, recur all your artifacts and stuff, especially within white. There's a couple at least. So you can bring back all of your artifacts, and it's just, you're drawing cards, you're discarding cards, recurring things. It's just really cool. You've also got like Emery as well, so you could add Emery in here, and then Emery allows you to be able to cast those artifacts from the graveyard. And then our final one here is Greasefang, Okiba Boss. So similar to Shorikai, you get to play from the graveyard. You can make use of a few different things with Greasefang, whether it's going to be self-mill, whether it's going to be selective discarding or tutoring into the graveyard. You can also go with some aristocrat stuff, and then you can bring that stuff back that you sacrifice. So like, something like Braids, for example, you could sacrifice one of your vehicles. Everyone either has to give you a card draw or sacrifice an artifact, and then you can bring back that vehicle back into your hand anyway. Make use of all those, like, there's a few different vehicle ETBs or things that are like when a vehicle enters or when a creature enters, or an artifact enters stuff. Not so much within like the Orzhov colors, but there's options there. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and goodbye.